What's up, guys? Got a good subject today, a controversial subject that I have talked about previously about sparring and hard sparring versus light sparring. And I think I did a couple of videos on this, but I just recently saw another video of, it was GSP saying, you know, you don't need to spar hard. And I've seen other guys say, oh, you don't need to spar as much. You don't need to spar hard. I'll say this, guys, for all the years, like obviously I'm nowhere near credentialed as GSP. He's one of the greatest fighters of all time. I'm also nowhere near as athletic as him, and neither is the majority of the world. Throughout my whole career, I have never seen anyone make it to the UFC that didn't spar hard. That don't mean they're sparring hard every day. That doesn't mean they're sparring hard every session. But I've never seen anyone. The only people that can take this approach of hardly sparring is the freak athletes. GSP is a freak athlete. It's been established he's a freak athlete through multiple people that have trained with him. There's videos of Chael Sonnen talking about how athletic he is. Rashad Evans talking about how athletic he is. But I've never seen average athlete, an average fighter, a person that is average athleticism, not super strong, not super fast, just, you know, mid-tier at all of it. I've never seen them make it to the UFC without sparring hard. So I would never suggest everyone spar 3 days a week or hard, even though like in boxing, they do that for sure. In boxing, sometimes they'll spar 3 days a week, do 10 rounds each day if they're fighting like a 10-round fight, like title fights and stuff, or contender fights, or just big name fights. Someone may be sparring 30 rounds a week hard. Like that's crazy. I don't think an MMA fighter needs to do that. But I would never say, and I would never tell any of my students that they don't need to spar hard sometimes. And I'm not saying every time. Let's say you have a training camp of 2 months, you have a fight coming up in 2 months, and you're going to spar twice a week. So 2 months, twice a week, that is what, 8 sparring sessions a month, 16 sparring sessions total. 16 sparring sessions basically over the course of, if you do 2 a week times, 4 weeks, that's 8 times 2 months, 16 sparring sessions over 2 months, half of them need to be hard. There's no fucking way you're going to convince me that the average athlete can pull this off. Because there's plenty of average athletes that are in the UFC. Everybody's not freak athlete. Everybody's not GSP. Everybody's not Ngannou. Everybody's not Alex Pereira, who does spar hard, by the way. A lot of the people that are strikers, if you notice that too, a lot of the strikers, Pereira, Izzy, these guys do spar hard. So the strikers believe in it still, the pure strikers that come from striking to MMA. But somebody had just sent me that video recently, and I'm telling you once again, I'm not trying to criticize one of the greatest fighters of all time. I'm just being realistic. I've never seen anyone make it to the UFC unless they sparred hard, at least half the time, and unless they were freak athletes. And even then, I'll be honest with you, even then, most of the freak athletes are sparring. When people say, oh, you shouldn't spar hard all the time, you shouldn't leave it all in the gym, this and that, you should not. You should not spar hard every session. But if you think you're going to go to a high level without doing some serious hard sparring sessions, I think that's very naive and very unrealistic for most people. So I figured I'd make that video real quick. I just don't think it's realistic. I've never seen it yet. I've never seen anyone that wasn't a freak athlete make it to a high level, make it to the UFC or have a career in the UFC and even stay there for more than a year or two if they weren't sparring hard, at least half of the time. It doesn't even make sense that people think this is logical to do this for someone that's new. If someone whose experience is Max Holloway now, who says don't spar hard, he doesn't need to spar hard. He doesn't need to spar hard at all, because he is multiple time world champion and has all this experience. So he already knows how to dig down and how to fight. There's nothing can get you used to the pace of a hard fight like hard sparring. There's no swimming, there's no running, there's no strength conditioning program that can match that. There's nothing. So that's just my opinion. Take it how you want it, guys. The more experience you get, the less you need to spar hard. Like you will even see Strickland and them sparring, and they say Strickland spars almost every day. It didn't look like it's super hard. He could knock these people out way worse than he does. Now he beats up on YouTubers and stuff, so it's kind of funny. But on a day-to-day training basis, when he's sparring guys, he's not going 100%. So he doesn't need to. He's a world champion, former world champion. But the average fighter coming up that has a couple fights, or I would say even only amateur fights. If you're only amateur fighter, you need to be sparring hard. There's no way someone that hadn't had pro fights shouldn't be sparring hard at least half of the sessions they do, in my opinion. Because I've yet to see someone make it to a high level that didn't. For sure. So just my 2 cents, guys. Any comments or any subjects you'd like me to go over, just leave a comment below. And if you're new to martial arts, looking for a gym in your area, get my book, The Ultimate Guide to Choosing Your Martial Arts School and Instructor. Link is in the description.